You know, one of the first signs that I had that higher education was going horribly, horribly, horribly off the rails was when I found myself in the position of coaching young professionals, kids who had just graduated from college. And yes, I'm going to call them kids. I'm sorry. Kids who had just graduated from college, 22, 23 years old. They were in their first job. They were so excited to be there, and they didn't know how to write. They didn't know how to write. They didn't know how to communicate. Some of these kids had degrees in English or media or journalism, and they had no idea how to write because college had not taught them how to write. And so when I saw this story from the College Fix, I was like, well, duh. This nonsense has been happening for years, and it seems as though higher education is not just now going to double down on the concept of not actually teaching kids, but indoctrinating them into these insane belief systems that will not help them to be successful in the real world. Here we have Rutgers English Department to de-emphasize traditional grammar in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. So we're going to take a look at this article. I'm going to tell you what I think about this insanity. I think it's probably already pretty clear what I think about this insanity. But before we get into that, listen, folks, I'm trying to grow my channel. I really, really, really want to hit 100,000 subs before Election Day. I think this is a totally doable thing. So if you like the content I'm putting out there, please make sure you subscribe, turn on those notifications, give it a thumbs up, do all the things. If you think you're subscribed, just double check because YouTube may have made that decision for you. All right, let's read this article. The English department at Rutgers University recently announced a list of anti-racist directives and initiatives for the upcoming fall and spring semesters, including an effort to de-emphasize traditional grammar rules. Initiatives were spelled out by Rebecca Walkowitz, the English department chair at Rutgers University, and sent to faculty and students in an email, a copy of which was obtained by the College Fix. Walkowitz sent the email on Juneteenth, which celebrates the commemoration and of emancipation from slavery in the United States. Now, before we go any further, I just want to say that I actually think it's a perfectly valid thing to make Juneteenth a national holiday. I think that would be a wonderful thing to do that could actually show, the commitment to the country changing. That's a good change to make. I have no issue with it. I think that Trump, frankly, was very dumb for not calling for it and not just doing it. I mean, come on. Like, how crazy would the media have looked if Trump was like, we're going to declare Juneteenth a national holiday, and the media's like, they can't go against it. It would have been amazing. Opportunity lost. Let's keep going. Titled Department Actions in Solidarity with Black Lives Matter, the email states that the ongoing and future initiatives that the English department has planned are a way to contribute to the eradication of systemic inequities facing Black, Indigenous, and people of color. So we're going to be not holding people to standards of grammar as a way to combat systemic racism. Doesn't that seem racist to you? It does to me. Doesn't that say that Black and Indigenous and people of color are not capable of learning and understanding commonly accepted grammar? I mean, I thought that was the whole point of going to college, was to learn how to write, to learn these things. What is the alternative? I mean, maybe the article will tell us what the alternative is. Let's keep going. One of the initiatives is described as incorporating critical grammar into our pedagogy. What the holy hell is critical grammar? It is listed as one of the efforts for Rutgers graduate writing program, oh my God, which serves graduate students across Rutgers community. The GWP's mission is to support graduate students of all disciplines in their current and future writing goals, from coursework papers to scholarly articles and dissertation, according to the website. Well, guess what? Listen, I've written a dissertation. And writing a dissertation is not just about, spelling things correctly and having proper grammar. It's about learning to write academic. That's what it is. It is an exercise, and you know what it is? A dissertation is all about taking 10 pages to say something when really a page probably would have been sufficient. I actually had to do that. I got feedback on my dissertation that I was just too short. in the dissertation, and I just had to add a lot of fluffy stuff to make it longer. That was one of the pieces of feedback that I got, so I had to write more academic, make it longer, take 15 sentences to make a point when really I could have probably made the same point in like 3 words. But that's academic writing. That's what you have to learn how to do. I promise you, if they think that decolonizing grammar is a way to teach graduate students, those graduate students are not going to be set up for success when it comes to actually writing their thesis or their dissertation. They're going to have a horrible time with it because they have not been properly prepared for it. Under the so-called critical grammar pedagogy, this approach challenges the familiar dogma that writing instruction should limit emphasis on grammar/sentence level issues so as not to put students from multilingual, non-standard academic English backgrounds at a disadvantage, the email states. Listen, my husband does not speak English as his first language. English was his second language. He started learning it, I think, when he was around 7 or something. He started learning it real young. He's always self-conscious about his English, and he speaks better English than most Americans because he holds himself to that standard. He wanted to speak proper English. Now, I am not and never have been in favor of, nationalizing English as the official language of the country. I don't think that that's a good thing to do, but I can say that if you are going to come and study at a school in the United States in which the instruction is in English, and by the way, they're talking about a graduate level program here, which means there have been conceivably some sort of undergraduate program involved. They've already done some studies. Then you should probably know how to speak the language. You should probably know how to write in it. If you don't know how to do it or you don't have confidence in it, then go to the graduate level writing program, go to the writing center and have them teach you. But what they're saying is, no, we're not going to teach you how to write in the language. We are going to coddle you so that you don't have to learn these things. That is crazy. Instead, it encourages students to develop a critical awareness of the variety of choices available to them with regard to micro-level issues in order to empower them and equip them to push past biases based on written accents. What the hell does that even mean? Honestly. It encourages students to develop a critical awareness. Okay, so we're developing awareness. Hang on, we're going to use proper non-critical grammar to break down this sentence structure to figure out what the F they're talking about. Of a variety of choices, awareness. Okay, so awareness that they have a variety of choices. Okay. Available to them with regard to micro-level issues. I don't know what micro-level issues are. We'll put that in green, in order to empower them and equip them to push past their own, okay, so they want them to be aware that there are different choices available so that they can push past their own biases when it comes to their writing. I still have no idea what that means. If you have any idea what that means, leave a comment and give it your best guess. I really don't understand it. Let's keep going. Walkowitz's comments came amid racial unrest within academia following the death of George Floyd at the hands of a white police officer. I'm surprised they didn't put white, male, cisgendered police officer. Walkowitz explained in the emails that since 2012, the Rutgers English Department has had a committee on bias awareness and prevention. Okay, so you've been messing around with this shit since 2012 and you're just getting to this after the death of George Floyd? That spells disingenuous to me. Following the committee's most recent meeting in mid-June, its members agree that it needs to move from a role of emphasizing awareness and prevention towards a role of emphasizing cultural change. Oh, hang on. So now that sentence structure that we just broke down, that none of us have any idea what that means, now they're saying we're not even doing awareness anymore. We're emphasizing cultural change? What the hell? Okay. English departments, this is not your fucking job. Can't believe I even have to say these things. Several initiatives came out of that meeting, she wrote. A recommendation endorsed by leaders of all instructional units is to require all fall 2020 instructors in English to attend at least one workshop on how to have an anti-racist classroom. Are you effing kidding me? The committee will also be launching a webpage to provide access to events, resources, and affiliated groups, while also organizing 2 teach-ins focused on Black Lives Matter, anti-racism, police brutality, and police reform. So what you're telling me is now the Rutgers University English Department has basically changed directions from teaching English to teaching anti-racism. That's literally what this is saying. The Rutgers University English Department is no longer going to be teaching English. They are instead going to be teaching anti-racism. I am sure parents that are paying tuition for their kids to learn and study English and literature and do crazy things like read books and analyze those books and talk about those books, I'm sure parents who are paying tuition for that are going to be absolutely thrilled at this development that their kids instead are going to learn anti-racism. Let's keep going. With concerns to the amount of inclusivity and diversity present within the Writing Center at Rutgers, Walkowitz noted that there is an internship scheduled to launch in spring 2021 dedicated to the mission of decolonizing the Writing Center. I dearly hope that internship is not paid, but I think we all know that the tuition dollars that the parents are paying to now educate their children in anti-racism instead of English, I think we all know that at least a little portion of those tuition dollars are now going to be paid to an intern with the mission of decolonizing the Writing Center. The Writing Centers have developed 2 internships initiative to support the goals of diversity and equity, the email states. The Writing Center currently offers a spring advanced tutoring internship called Tutoring Towards Diversity and Inclusion. So we're not tutoring to teach children how to write and how to use proper grammar. We're teaching them how to be anti-racist. And the Livingston Writing Center is developing an internship to launch in spring 2021 titled Decolonizing the Writing Center. Like, mark my words, you put on your resume that you were an intern in charge of decolonizing the Writing Center, and you will never get a job in the real world, ever. You better fudge the title on that one. You're not getting a job after that. Or I guess actually, no, you know what, I'm wrong, actually. Of course I'm wrong, because of course there's going to be some, like, mega SJW company that hires for that, but one of the reasons I say that is, I don't think that resume scanners are actually going to be looking for those types of internships. They're going to be looking for internships that teach people how to write and do stuff. They're not going to be looking for that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think that that is an internship that is actually going to be practically applicable in the real world, except for the wokest of the woke companies. Because as a reminder, and I've talked about this in this new series I'm doing, debunking the myth of the white supremacist culture in organizations, executives and CEOs don't give a flying F about this training. They don't care. These are all initiatives that are coming out of HR units. Okay? And what happens is the executives kind of go, okay, do this so that we don't get in trouble, and, put out the statement and do what you want to do because we don't want the mob coming after us. But in real life, they don't give a flying F about any of this. They care about their business actually performing and meeting goals. That's why I say that this is not a way to actually get a job in the real world, because contrary to popular belief, HR usually does not make hiring decisions. Managers make hiring decisions. I don't know. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm still a little purposefully naive about all of this stuff, or maybe I'm just trying to maintain some level of sanity and not want to acknowledge the severity of the situation that we find ourselves in. But whatever. Let's keep going. Both critically engage the history of English studies and how we can both continue teaching/tutoring English composition even as we work to make the writing centers linguistically diverse and decolonized spaces. I think, what is even the point of adding the extra decolonization stuff? I don't understand. Make a linguistically diverse writing center, fine. I have no issue with that. I don't think anyone has an issue with that. But why do we have to have this emphasis on decolonizing? Of course, we all know the answer to that. When asked whether the effort to decolonize the Writing Center and incorporate critical grammar is a wise pedagogical decision for Rutgers' student body and the university as a whole, Executive Dean Peter March and Rutgers media spokesperson Dory Devlin, isn't that like the most media spokesperson name you've ever heard in your life, Dory Devlin, did not respond to a request from the College Fix for comment on the matter. Walkowitz also did not respond to a request for comment Other highlights from the email include, in the fall, we will be launching programming about art and protest. If we are teaching remotely, this might take the form of a virtual exhibition, including submissions from faculty and teaching classes that touch on areas and or creative and meta-reflective work from students. Okay, I have no idea what any of this means, and I'm disinclined to read the rest of this nonsense email. Listen, make sure you're, like, if you're a parent, like, teach your kids to write before they go to college, because obviously they ain't gonna be learning to write while they're at college. And I promise you, like, one of the things that, and it's funny, actually, this is a part of a white supremacist culture, that series of video I'm doing is emphasis on the written word, but the reality is that's, by the way, that's supposed to be indicative of a white supremacist culture in organizations, is to expect things to be written down. I'm not making this up. You'll see when I get there. But the reality is that if you want to be successful in the real world, understanding how to write, understanding proper grammar is a pretty key component to it. And you're going to have to learn it at some point. So teach it to your kids now. Don't send them to woke schools that are going to decolonize their grammar tutors. Teach them how to write. Have them read great writers so they understand what good writing looks like. Have them practice all this stuff. You don't actually need, like, college nonsense to teach your kids this. Writing is really more a matter of practice, and obviously colleges are opting out of doing it anyway. All right, that's all I have for today for a crazy journey into the insanity of higher education. Be back at you guys with another video soon.